Hello everyone, Virixiss here, and we're going to be attempting to do a new type of format. I always like to experiment and try new things with the channel, and I think this is going to be a good way to move forward with commentary on gameplay. In particular, excuse me, dinner's coming right back up. So, normally when I do commentary on gameplay, I generally do a live commentary while I'm playing the game. While I attempted to do that, I was noticing I was running off track and losing focus on what we needed to talk about. So I decided that what we're going to do instead is similar to things like Mr. Paladin does, where it seems like he plays a replay and just voices over what he's thinking about while he's doing the replay. I'm going to be doing a very similar thing here. So as we load in, we're loading into Galleon, very bright, very wide map, and I'm picking the cheapest pistol because it gives me the most options to work with, and I'm checking the profiles of the people we're going against. We're going against level 50s. That doesn't mean they're good, but it does mean that I should expect them to understand how the game works. So rather than picking a sensor like I usually do, I go with the flares to help figure out just kind of where the sharks are going to be early on. Now, if our team is good and I'm on the ball, I should have enough money to get a sensor very, very quickly. Now we have to sit here and wait for everybody to start up. We're going to jump through. Now, why flares, while we're talking about here? Flares are a fairly cheap item, and a lot of people don't end up buying them, but they are extremely useful when you're not going against a tiger shark. Because they're only 50 bucks each, and you can carry 3 of them, they cannot be destroyed by sharks, and they last a little bit of time, but long enough that once you have a fastest heartbeat sensor, you can more or less just throw 3 flares out and narrow down at least the ways that the sharks are coming in, and so it is quite useful. So in this particular case, we're looking at Galleon, and I can hear the heartbeat sensors coming up, so I throw a flare out the window, and I can immediately see that it did catch a shark. It did not turn around and catch me, although I was a little slow on turning around. I take advantage of my friend's poor luck, grab all the gold that he dropped, throw it back to Steve, and at this point I see the shark again, and catch him as he's coming in. Now, as you can see, the distance that flare caught him at, I only threw it maybe about just a little bit out the doorway, but it did catch him in plenty of time for me to be able to set up a bullet hallway for him, and it turned into a bad time for him, even though he was a great white. Again, I can hear the fastest heartbeat sensor going off, and there's the shark. Definitely see how the flare, it may not work the longest, but if your timing is right and you're on the ball, that flare is really going to help you out, because sharks do not, I think they underestimate how wide that flare gun is, that flare range is. This Thresher, get her ready for bad aim, because I had all the bad aim. So I died. And I take a look at, we now have 2,000 gold. That is enough for me to outright buy a whole new gun, and we are not even out of safe 1 yet, and I already have an APS, so we're doing great on gold right now. And I buy new flares, and I buy a sensor to help us gather even more gold and help to snowball our gold advantage, our resource advantage, as we go forward. This shark wasn't paying attention, and I was by myself. That could have been very, very bad, but thankfully he wasn't paying attention. He was trying to swipe Steve, I think. As we gather gold, you'll notice that I'm not gathering a whole bunch before I turn around and chuck it at Steve, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, of course, when a shark grabs you, you scatter gold everywhere. And two, just the faster you can get it in there, the less likely you're going to get caught out. Also, here's something funny. Sometimes it looks like you're perfectly fine with a flare throw, and you're not. This is where I get grabbed. Amazingly, I survive. That's alright. Pressure comes in, and ends. So, once again, you want to keep your 5 things of the checklist in mind. You want to make sure you're getting gold, paying attention to where you are in relation to your surroundings, pay attention to where the sharks are, and pay attention to what your teammates are doing, along with knowing all your equipment. In this particular case, we have a Thresher and a Great White. The Thresher is the big threat here, but the Great White isn't to be ignored either. So in this particular case, what I ended up doing was deciding for more firepower more than anything else, because it was simply going to help us out more. I did not switch over to the ADS. I stayed with the APS and went with the heavy barrel because I was confident in my ability to land shots, and the heavy barrel was going to help both take out the Thresher in only 2 shots, and it was going to reduce the amount of time that the Great White was going to stay alive. Now, you can kind of see that I am fairly low on health. Both the sharks are dead, so I was going to make a bit of a decision here to go for the health kit. That's what that thing is. This was a very risky maneuver because I could have been caught out at any particular moment, but judging by how the sharks had been behaving the rest of the game, I figured that that was actually a pretty low risk for me, and if they did grab me out, well, I was pretty much half health anyway. So, what we're doing here is I heard that shark slam into the door, knew he was there, pinged him just to make sure, and then was ready to save my my teammate, who was not paying attention. And I'm going to get grabbed here, and I'm not going to survive it. So, another reason why you want to throw your bag out in front of you whenever you believe you're going to be grabbed. I got caught out guard, so my gold was scattered everywhere, as you're getting ready to find out. And I decided to set up a boom room, although it was ineffective, I do remember. So I grab all the gold that got dropped. You can see it dropped in a big old line from where I got snagged to where he killed me. Drop it off, just to make sure. And then one here, and one over here, just in case he dodges through the first one, he's not going to dodge the second one. And in the case of the Great White, he may survive the first one, he will not survive the second one. And as you can see, yep, and here's again, I'm bleeding. The Thresher has the bleeding tooth mod, and I needed the med kit to stay alive. The heavy barrel is doing work for me. As you can see, it only took about a couple of shots to kill the Great White. I didn't know if it was under Juggernaut or not, but it really only took like 1 or 2 shots to up out and kill the Thresher. And so it was definitely worth the mod. Was it worth 2,000? I don't know, but I think it's actually a pretty useful mod, and I'm very glad it happened. I do believe it was added in on the Cold Blood update, which is an update I missed due to real-life circumstances in the holiday. So, I'm still experimenting with it. Bad aim everywhere. So, yeah, you can see, I'm not surprised. I'm actually a little surprised I didn't get snagged, but what have you. Now here we are, moving on. We got the mine there, which is going to net me a kill in about 5, 4, 3, never mind. I was way off on that count. That's okay, it got me a kill, that's good. It did knock out Steve, though. That's not great. But it was definitely worth to bleed out your tickets. Now, Thresher managed to nail me with her tail and grab me at the same time. No bueno. But we have a huge gold advantage, and that is something that we're going to capitalize on. I'm going to pick up a supply kit because this is one of the most annoying rooms for a shark to deal with. And looking back on that replay, I definitely saw the Thresher poke his head out of the gloom before I reacted in game, and so that's going to be a potential part where if you watch your own replays, you will definitely see, oh, I should have been more attentive because I could have caught that Thresher shark out with my heavy barrel mod. That would have been bye-bye Thresher. So it is worth it to record your own games to watch it back and see where you could have done better. That was a good Thresher blow, by the way. He didn't even grab me. The tail alone killed me. Here we are. I've laid down the supply kit, and so all of my teammates will have stuff to grab. And I'll have more flares, because these are going to be fairly useful here. There are only a few places they can get into immediately without breaking without starting to break windows. But yeah, as you can see, the Thresher Shark died in, I think, 2 shots. So, definitely a good mod for the APS. That one, I don't understand why he didn't grab me, but I will not knock a gift horse in the mouth. Killed the Thresher Shark there. Patch up Steve just a bit. And keep going. You might notice I don't have my flashlight on. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, Galleon is pretty much of a bright enough map that you don't need the flashlight, like, at all. And secondly, it can help improve your aim, and it can help improve the way that you see gold pickups on the ground. Because sometimes you go to pick up gold, and your flashlight actually, like, yellows out the ground below you. And so it can be difficult to figure out where the sand begins and the gold ends sometimes. And that's a reason why I don't use the flashlight nearly as often. On top of that, whenever you have a shark shield up, the flashlight is a dead giveaway to your position. Even if the sharks can't see your silhouette, they can see your flashlight and make a good guess, if they're good sharks, about where you are located and just make a snatch, a quick grab for them. So as you can see here, the sharks are finally down to their last 2 tickets. This is it. If they die, no more spawning for them, and that will be GG for us. We're getting ready to figure out. We can hear the heartbeat sensor. We can hear it, we can hear it, we can hear it. And I don't see anybody. Can't ping anybody. The sonar buoy flashes from time to time. And I'm just trying to figure out where they are. But someone gets snagged, and I didn't quite see where they came from. That's okay, because I'm dead. Still, the Thresher is now out of the picture, and it's down to the much slower, much easier to hit Great White, which is why I'm going to switch to do the Toxic rounds. Because even if he does start to get away, the Toxic rounds will deal a lot of damage, and it forces him to back off, eat a seal, or die. So in this particular situation, we're hoping to kill him and end the game, but if all I can settle for is shooing him away to safety, then I will take it. Everyone seems to be going up top. I stay down with Steve, and that tends to be a good option for me because I can hear him. Hear him start to zoom away, see him, tag him with the Toxic, and decide because there's no other shark it's worth seeing him. I can catch him in the gloom. I caught him with the sonar buoy and got a couple of lucky bullets down the range for the win. Boom, headshot, as I tend to say in those particular situations, and that was the game. I hope you guys have figured out kind of how my thought process works. And hopefully we'll be doing these types of videos later on in the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Virixiss here, signing off.